Alright, got a Game Gear out. This is one of my stock ones with a stock screen. Not my Game Gear that has the aftermarket screen in it. And I thought I would play some Sailor Moon. So this is a Japanese release. It was only released in Japan. And so the main menu is in Japanese. Hopefully you can see that. But basically I think it's the main, like, Usagi mode. And then you play as, what's her face? Her daughter, Chibi. And then that is, I think, like a bonus games. And that's like a thing that tells your fortune, I think. And I forget what that is. Basically, this is like the main game, I think, and then like once you beat this, you can play through as anyways, I was saying, I think you can play through as, what the heck is her name? Chibi Moon or whatever? Forget her name, but... and that's like a second playthrough or something, I think. I don't know. Haven't played this a lot. It looks incredible on the Game Gear. Very colorful graphics. Good music, surprisingly. You know, Game Gear's not really known for the best music out of that PSG chip, and just like the Sega Master System. You know, the NES definitely had a better sound chip than the Sega Master System, but the Master System had better color, better graphic chip, basically. The Game Gear can display even more colors than the Master System. It's basically a Master System that runs at a lower resolution, but the trade-off is it can do more colors on the screen at a time. So the Game Gear is capable of really good colors, just that a lot of times can't tell on its screen. I've got the stock screen out, like I said, today. I'm doing terrible. Kind of awkward though, I got the camera in the way, so I need an excuse. This is not a hard game, but I am going to try, and I hope you can see it okay. Because obviously, you know, with the Game Gear, you got a very limited angle. And I need to see the screen, and the camera needs to see the screen. And we are not at the same angle.
Alright, so we're going to switch over to emulation here. This, you know, looking over the camera. It's sort of in my way, and this is awkward, and I'm doing terrible. So we'll switch over to emulation for the rest of the gameplay. But like I was saying, every time I come back to a stock Game Gear, I'm always kind of surprised how good it looks. Like, you know, I'll use my modded one with the modded LCD for a while, and I'll get used to that. And like I said, obviously as far as like color, contrast, brightness, all that goes, it looks way better, but it's not perfect in the way it does the scaling compared to like the native resolution. And it's always nice to kind of come back to the stock screen once in a while. And like I was saying, every time I do that, I'm always like, oh wow, yeah, this looks better than I expected. You know, until it starts moving quickly. If you're playing like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, the shortcomings of the screen, of which there are many, certainly show themselves. But in games that don't move so quickly, like in this one, it's perfectly serviceable. I kind of like the way the pixels are aligned, and you kind of have almost like these vertical scan lines instead of like horizontal scan lines. It's a very unique look, and with the native resolution, it is kind of neat to see once in a while. Kind of neat to go back to once in a while. But yeah, anyways, this is Sailor Moon. I guess it's Sailor Moon S. It's part of that series. I only really ever watched like the original. So I'm not that familiar with some of the other series that kind of came afterwards, but so yeah, this is a Game Gear game, obviously. It came out in 1995, so it was a fairly late release, I think the Game Gear was dead by about 95, 96. I think in a lot of cases, especially in Japan, the later games, a lot of them were more geared towards kids. They started with like the Sega Kids thing, and like there was like the Echo the Dolphin Junior or whatever, games like that starting to kind of come out in Japan, kind of keep the Game Gear going. Maybe the father in Japan bought the Game Gear when it was new in 1990 or 1991 or whatever it was, and by 95, 96, it kind of passed it on to the kid. But yeah, it's a great looking game. It's one of the best looking games and sounding games. The music is awesome in this game. And like I said, the Game Gear never really known for great music. When there is good music on the Game Gear, it always stands out. And this is up there with some of the best. I think there's only like 5 levels. It's not a super long game. I will beat it in this playthrough. Again, it's not very hard. I could never figure out how to do... Like, you collect the wands, and I'm assuming that's like your special attack. Like, you can do this like special attack during the... I could never figure out how to do it. And like, there's only 2 games on the Game Gear, plus, the start button. Start pauses the game. It's not used for anything extra. So, like, I couldn't figure out how to use my special attacks, I'm thinking, like, it's got to be, like, buttons 1 and 2 at the same time, or, holding up and pressing 1, or holding down and pressing 1. I couldn't figure it out. So, I'm assuming they're special moves. Again, you collect these wands. But I could not figure out how to do the special moves. So, I downloaded an instruction manual. It was all in Japanese. Didn't really help. There's a lot of bonus games, and very, very unique. There's a variety of bonus games. One of them was like, the wheel rolls by really fast, and you got to stop it at the right time. Kind of like similar to Mario 3, with the, you got to line up the star or the mushroom. Rather difficult. It goes by very quickly. One of them was like a... Guess the door that Tuxedo Mask was behind, and that was kind of cool. And then one of them was like a trivia game. One of them I got, it came up and went so fast, and I didn't even realize if I was controlling the ball or the cat. I didn't even realize, I didn't know what was going on. And it just like, it started and then I died within a second or so. So I'm not sure what you're supposed to do there, but it looks unique. Again, all the little bonus games look unique. Again, lots of colorful graphics, and some of the... Just listen to this music. So yeah, that is Sailor Moon on the Game Gear. If you're a fan of the Game Gear like I am, this is one that you have to check out. I know it's a girl game, kind of easy, but you know what? I don't care. It's fun, looks great, sounds great. One of the best looking and sounding games on the Game Gear. You gotta check it out.
the Chibi Moon. Well, she's definitely got a shorter reach. Is this like hard mode or something? I don't think I've ever played through as Chibi Moon here before. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe it's like hard mode. Once you go through it with Sailor Moon, you can kind of go through it as hard mode, maybe. Again, geez, I hope you can see that screen okay. Again, the Game Gear has a very narrow viewing angle. Especially top to bottom. And so, I don't know. If I can see the screen good, the camera probably can't, but... I guess it's always fun to pull out just a stock Game Gear, and I'm always impressed with the screen, because it does look decent when you get it on the right angle. And stuff's not moving too fast. You start playing Sonic the Hedgehog, and everything starts moving really fast, then yeah, you definitely see the limitations, which there certainly are. But again, it's always like initial impression coming back to one is it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because, you know, I have that modded one. The modded one looks great as far as the color and the contrast goes and the brightness. But, you know, its scaling's not perfect. Sometimes it's nice to come back to a stock screen with the better scaling, or proper scaling. Native resolution, I guess. Not really scaling anything, it's just the native resolution. If I didn't mention it, there's an English translation ROM available for this. If you want to play the English version, for what little story bits there are in the main menu, at least you'll know what you're doing. And my Game Gear just turned off.